Do It All Dad does Montreal. It feels great to be here in Montreal instead of London to see Bjork for my wife's birthday. I wanted to see the Shrieking Seals personally, whose idea of instrumentation is more than a dude pouring cups of water back and forth into a koi pond, sounding like massage parlor music for over the hill hipster elves. I'm a native New Yorker who used to love the Knicks until they traded our Latvian unicorn savior, Kristaps Porzingis, for a box of cotton candy, showing no faith in uni flying high again. There's no way Kristaps Porzingis raped the neighbor in his apartment building the day he tore his ACL. Because, first, going strong to the hole was never KP's forte. Second, do you see Harvey Hairclumps Weinstein trying to rape Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot, on only one good leg? Case closed! Did you know female dragonflies play dead to prevent sexual assault? Bill Cosby victims call this wishful thinking. How does black supremacist Dave Chappelle defend Michael Jackson in his latest Netflix special? All the Beatles royalty points in the world couldn't buy him love? Greta Thunberg won Time Person of the Year for making eco-anxiety go viral. I don't care how woke or liberal-leaning you are. I'm sure a dad spending $250,000 a year in his kid's private school education on the Upper East Side loves to be lectured by a 16-year-old on not doing enough to fight climate change. He comes home at 9, kids are still up because all 4 of his kids are consumed with eco-anxiety, popping melatonin gummies like nerds because their doorman on 79th and Lex can't keep out a typhoon from their penthouse suite overlooking Central Park. Dad freaks out. Why are the kids still up? Let me guess. Fucking Greta Thunberg again? Imagine Greta Thunberg debating President Trump about climate change on pay-per-view. Trump says, fracking actually reduces our carbon emissions, Greta. Greta says, so Neil Young is full of shit now? Trump fires back with, Neil Young doesn't take showers to reduce his carbon footprint, so that much you share in common, babe. Why is the trans community freaking out over the Aerosmith song, Dude Looks Like a Lady? In the song, Steven Tyler turns his cheek and takes a peek, proclaiming with surging lust, oh, what a funky lady, and I like it, yeah. So to Richard Pryor, get over it already. One kid only means your diaphragm is for walls after all. I have 3 unplanned kids myself. I never came close to mastering the art of the pump fake. My 3rd child, Chosen Curls, was bound to, woo! Is constantly getting bombarded by Italian grandmas at the supermarket saying, you're gorgeous. When you get older, you'll have 3 girlfriends to juggle. And I'll say, if James Woods had this kid's face, your estimates wouldn't be so conservative. We'll be at a wedding and a bunch of chessy bridesmaids take my son from my arms to dance with them, and I'll say, Chosen Curls, you do realize they're also manhandling me because your star power stems from your dude old dad's tree trunk. I've been a stay-at-home comedian on and off for 9 years now. My father hates the expression stay-at-home dad. He prefers sheltered bum. It's hard to feel like a dude old dad on the rise whenever your wife's smartphone sends her an alert whenever you make another questionable purchase. Wife calls, hey babe, so how was Bite at Chucky? If our newborn starts to get antsy around Mama will say, I think baby gets bored when he spends too much time with me. Of course, I'm thinking, I always knew he was a quick learner. My wife is originally from Australia and Victoria. We went to get married there on Mother's Beach. Yet, my mother shot that down real fast. My mom calls and says, son, Australia is a long flight from New York, and your father doesn't love you that much. So I made a compromise with my wife. I said, babe, assuming we have a boy one day, instead of hiring a rabbi for the kid's circumcision, we'll hire Crocodile Dundee. Just so we could hear a room full of Jews say, now that's a knife. You can chop it all off with that thing. I love the idea of having a 4th child because it will be an automatic fan of me. Yet my wife is pushing for a vasectomy, which scares me because I don't want my ballsack to feel like Edward Scissorhands' face. But God didn't give me 3 kids to have a panic attack over it. Although my daughter gives me fits of despair, asking super deep questions as usual about God that I take forever to answer in return. She'll say, so Daddy, if God created the universe, who created God? God went back in time in a time machine made by Elon Musk? Real convincing, Dad. Thanks for making me an atheist at 4. This is my impersonation of Ziggy Marley being interviewed by High Times magazine. Ziggy, your father Bob Marley had 7 kids, but I thought ganja drained your light blaster dry. Ziggy says, fake news, man. You know CNN is in trouble when even your baby boomer resistor father tells you he only watches it for finance news? Yeah, Dad, and I only watch Real Time with Bill Maher for my Bible study group. I gave up drinking beer last summer because it was humiliating spending so much time hungover, recycling, empty reminders of my lushness as entire Rocky marathons and AMC passed me by. My wife works as a nurse at night in the intensive care nursery, checking blue-faced babies for vital signs. This makes me feel like a total narcissist because all I check for is for retweets. Whenever I'm out in public with just my 3 kids, because my nurse wife worked all night before, I get, you've got your hands full. And I'll say, if my 2 books, Controlling My Kids a Comedy and Do It All Dad Does Jokes, become bestsellers already and secure me a literary agent in the process, resulting in my wife agreeing to open marriage or Katy Perry, then my hands will be full. I call my wife the boob doctor because she's also a lactation consultant. Plus, all 3 of our kids are beneficiaries of what they call attachment parenting, which is turning your bed into a 24/7 open milk bar for the foreseeable future. Although breastfeeding your kids does wonders for their complexion. All the other formula babies at daycare are pasty and gross, looking like they all took a load to the face with an Elmer's glue gun. Deplorable is anyone who's glad Jussie Smollett took a shot. How does a member of Antifa celebrate Mother's Day? Take out the trash for once and move out of the house for good? I thought Bernie Sanders and Lord Mayor Bloomberg would have won the Democratic nomination in 2016. So much for 2016 being the year for atheist Jews. They should change the name of Vermont from the Green State to CBD oil only. Bernie Sanders couldn't even make Vermont great for potheads on vacation. I love my new Trump Voice GPS system. On your left is Talking Stick Casino, Elizabeth Warren's Home Away from Home. Trump has ties to Russia. Duh, most mail-order bride owners do. I love Trump's relentless optimism and over-the-top salesmanship. If he was diagnosed with HIV tonight, he'd tweet the next morning, do I have HIV? Yes, but my T-cell count numbers have never been stronger. Hillary Hammertime Cankel says Trump is obsessed with her presidency because he's an illegitimate president. I thought Hillary Hammertime Cankel's lost twice of becoming president because she's an unhuggable cunt, alcoholic deplorable, who failed to sell 64 million branded racists, and why baby boomer mom doesn't know best. Proving baby boomer arrogance never dies. My bad. The beauty of having kids is they'll point out when you're being a slacker and not even close to being a do-it-all dad at all. Son asks, Daddy, why didn't you go on the treadmill today? Daddy, we strained his calf muscle on it yesterday. Son fires back with, enough with the excuses, Daddy. You're worse than Hillary. Resist this, Montreal. Thank you, and good night. So for all those long-time listeners to the Do-It-All Dad Year podcast, most of those jokes were yesterday's news, but the deadline for the Montreal Comedy Festival is March 1st. So I'm putting together my Tight 5, my Tight 7, and obviously there were some fan favorites that were not included in that mix. No big deal, mang. But I hope you enjoyed that. Trying to get my timing ready so I don't have to schlep to freaking Nyack one Thursday a year so I could, sample this A+ Demery on a bunch of zero talent hacks, as the Big Don would say. So I wanted to share one other thing with you guys today, folks. I know that I recently said, hey, I'm only going to share historical fiction stories on my podcast moving forward because I'm going to be an arts podcast. That's how I'm going to redefine myself. That's going to get me a new and notable. That's going to get me discovered. That's going to get me a lit agent. But it's a Friday. I'm feeling feisty. Sun's setting. Shouldn't be working anymore until the sun, according to Jewish law. I'm very excited. I sent a piece to Tablet Magazine. I haven't heard back from them yet. Called Surrender Shrimp and Grits. It's a conversation I have with God. I did it on the podcast. It's phenomenal material. For those who haven't listened to it, definitely check it out. And I have become much more, you could say, conservative, douchebaggy, for actually giving credence to the commandments and performing Shabbat every Friday and eating my super evolved kosher diet. I just totally lost any forward momentum I had in the show, knowing that Reform Jews represents the largest branch of Judaism in this country, and knowing that most of the Reform Jews in this country are self-hating Jews who still suck off Obama's fake news good hued legacy for all it's worth to the last dying breath, chances are they're not listening to podcasts anymore. And I don't think they're recommending it to their friends either. But as Green Day sang back in the day, I don't care. Mark Zuckerberg, this piece is called Sweating the Triggered Baby Boomers. Mark Zuckerberg, Zitface Zuck. I meant Zitface Yuck. Goodwill Hoodie, Hillary, Hammer Time Cankles, reason for losing to Trump in addition to being an unhuggable cunt. Because Facebook ads jumped out of laptops across the country in the form of holograms of Drago from Rocky IV demanding vote Trump or I'll break you. Yeah, so that Mark Zuckerberg, who founded a company to list a girl's availability status because he's never made a cocoa his entire life. Yeah, that Mark Zuckerberg, who tried to screw the Alpha Dog rowing twins out of their fair share, gets his armpits blow dried before big deal speeches on conservative censorship. You know, the ones where Goodwill Hoodie, Yuck Pits, pretends to act like he has no knowledge of Facebook, deliberately deplatforming anyone who dares to get Sacha Baron Cohen's panties in a bunch and post a Toby Keith playlist for old time's sake, or post a blog detailing any actual Trump-rich accomplishments that didn't involve renaming ISIS ISIL so they'd sound more starter-friendly in the New York Times. That reminds me, in that Montreal piece, I didn't do any Obama bashing at all. I'm going to have to revisit that for Do All Dad Does Montreal. Thank you, Lord. Yeah, so that Mark Zuckerberg. So it turns out that he actually has his own personal geisha hair blow dryer for stink pits whenever he's giving another big time speech outside of his minions at Facebook. Because Goodwill Hoodie is sweating more African Americans walking away from the Democratic Party as a result of Diamond and Silk's incessant finger-waving bullshit. Plus, the only ones who still use Facebook with any regularity are resistor baby boomers, and you must ban any pro-Trump supporters on their site because baby boomers have become such easily triggered, elitist, out-of-touch douchebags with the real godlike complexes because baby boomer arrogance never dies. Shabbat Shalom. Love all you fans. Love every American patriot. Love every American and European. Anyone in the freaking universe that loves the fact that our great president Donald Trump has made ball busting great again, and is creating the American. He's not creating. He's creating job. He's due to policies he's made have resulted in our country providing the American dream turned into reality come true, which is a beautiful thing. But I don't want to end on that. I want to end on making fun of Over the Hill Rockers that I've always revered, and I love their music. But it's like they can't stand being, the most popular, guy in school anymore. So this is rockers freaking out in the real world. Roger Waters thinks Trump is a mass murderer. Yeah, you're confusing him for the failed artist, speed freak, self-hating fruitcake, fake news dictator Adam Schiff. Can I get a holla for a mouthful of hilarity, for the pitch perfect joke that I never wanted to waste my breath on putz breath Adam Schiff, but there you go, and it was perfect. I could have delivered it any better if I tried. Holla! Adam Schiff would have added his non-circumcised brother to the Nazis for a line of chalky meth mixed with Arm & Hammer baking soda. Trump is a mass murderer, Roger Waters? Yeah. Once again, make Nazi Germany great again wasn't his campaign slogan, dude. You made a career about singing about your overbearing mommy and dad who died fighting real-life Nazis. Trump got some starter money from his dad and turned into $3 billion, becoming the master troll of the universe. You've got 500 million large and your own Gulfstream to take selfies with Linda Sarsour, so let's call it a wash, mate. before he gets suicidal and dare to make the final cut. Can I get another holla by Master Warplay? This freaking spews out of me because I'm divine blessed of the Almighty. Holla! Oh yeah, Roger Waters from Pink Floyd also said Trump supporters have turned America into hell. Again, stop confusing Trump supporters with terrorist-controlled Palestine. Use kids as human shields next time they launch 700 rockets into Israel's backyard, expecting nothing less but an edible gift basket in return, with only the primo fleshy pineapple included, with a thank you note written in Farsi. You're welcome! Trump supporters have turned America into hell, but Trump supporters don't support sanctuary cities, encourage lawlessness, banning bail, and ICE because Homeland Security was so weapons of mass destruction years. Trump supporters have turned America into hell? Yeah, for your girlfriend Linda Sarsour, who endorses treacherous Americans like Chelsea Manning's run for Senate because she endorses Sharia law and is pro-genital mutilation. Can I get a holla for an old-school callback that works better than ever? Holla! Trump supporters have turned America into hell? I thought it was actually the news media fault for pushing fake news narratives like Antifa or just misunderstood Punisher vigilante wannabes under their social justice warrior hoodies. Trump supporters have turned America into hell? Again, was it the news media who pushed the Russian golden shower tail with less legs than Lieutenant Dan between Trump and a couple of Russian hookers, knowing he's a notorious germaphobe? Plus, if the Don wanted a couple of hookers to pee on each other, he could hire a couple of Ivanka lookalikes in his hotel in D.C. anytime he likes. Axl Rose posted a picture of a hat on his Twitter feed that says, "Make the White House great again." Too bad Axl Rose no longer has no-name music writer critics at Circus Magazine to taunt on a double album because Kurt Cobain killed off Circus Magazine from a drab dronish video with cheerleaders cheering the death of another spaghetti incident. Neil Young declares Trump a disgrace to his country because he had to generate the most social media buzz out of becoming a citizen yesterday. A disgrace to our country. Neil is still sucking off the fake news good-hued legacy of Obama, knowing he let more Chinese-made fentanyl get smuggled across the southern border to kill more crackers than Lena Dunham kicking it with Taylor Swift on Instagram. Oh yeah, that's right. Trump inherited Obama's 2.9 GDP-fueled economy. Neil, young baby, I used to love you all winter long. Your banshee rocker wail and grungy, operatic, blistering guitar solos are the stuff of legend. Man, yet giving Obama credit for stock market highs is like giving Nino Brown credit for getting Pookie in New Jack City off crack and welfare. Still, I'm glad that you found love with Daryl Hannah and dumped your wife and mother of your children of 35 years who inspired Harvest Moon because you're in the middle of a hardcore, never banged a mermaid crisis. This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. What Gen X parents understand, controlling our kids' economy can make our kids great again, and I'll talk to you guys soon.